All we're gonna do is just check your ID real quick, okay?
Okay, but see, thing is, I don't know too much about the law. I'm not a lawyer. Ain't even pretend to be one. But I know that in order to detain me, you gotta have some type of reasonable suspicion that I've committed some type of crime.
What does it take for a police officer to lawfully stop you on the street? What are you actually required to say? These are not hypothetical questions. These are questions that define the boundary between liberty and state power. Today we're examining a real encounter from Talladega, Alabama, a man named Corey Dickerson detained by Officer Kenneth Price for jogging at night. And the legal issues this case raises go straight to the heart of Fourth Amendment doctrine. We're going to break down Terry stop parameters. We're going to examine what reasonable suspicion actually requires under the law. And we're going to address the question that trips up most people. When can police demand your identification, and when can you refuse? This is especially relevant right now, given the Alabama Supreme Court's recent ruling in Jennings v. Smith on identification requirements during investigative stops. If you want to actually understand your rights, not what you've heard, but what the law actually says, subscribe, and let's get into this.
Well, I live in Talladega.
Just get off work, or what are you doing?
Have I done anything wrong, first of all?
Well, no, we have to ask that, because see, at night we have to check, and see, we've had a lot of burglaries and thefts and stuff like that going on. We don't know who you are.
Oh, well, I'm nobody.
You see?
I'm nobody.
You see, look at our job, our points. We don't know what you're doing out here. You see?
Right now, I'm just minding my own.
Well, where are you going?
Nowhere in particular.
Nowhere in particular. Looks like you've been running. You've been running?
Yeah.
Where you been running from?
Just around.
Just around?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are you going to?
Nowhere in particular.
You got some ID on you?
I do, but
What's your name?
Corey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, looks like I'm about to get harassed.
Come over here, Corey. You don't look all right.
Huh?
Come over here.
I'd actually rather stand in front of your police car. I'd rather stand in front of your camera.
Stand right here.
Yeah, I just would like to let you know that I am recording.
Okay, that's
And
fine.
as soon as this video starts recording, it automatically uploads, so.
Hey, look. Hey, my camera does the same thing.
Yeah.
And you can tell them why I stopped you. It is 12:30 in the morning.
All right.
I've had a lot of burglaries and thefts.
Uh-huh.
You can get this on camera.
All right.
Okay. So
It is.
now I'm just asking you for your ID.
All right, so right away, the officer gives us his justification. We've had a lot of burglaries and stuff like that going on. That's his stated reason. And here's where we need to slow down and apply the actual legal standard. Under Terry v. Ohio from 1968, the Supreme Court held that officers can conduct brief investigatory stops, but they need reasonable, articulable suspicion that criminal activity is afoot. Not a hunch, not it's nighttime, specific, articulable facts. And what do we have here? A man jogging at 12:30 a.m. in athletic wear. The officer's reasoning is essentially, you're outside at night and we've had burglaries. But that's not how Terry works. You can't just point to general crime in an area and then stop anyone who happens to be present. Now watch how Corey handles this. He immediately asks the critical question, have I done anything wrong? That is textbook. That is exactly what you should ask, because it forces the officer to articulate the specific basis for the stop. And notice the officer's response. He doesn't point to Corey doing anything suspicious. He points to burglaries that Corey has no apparent connection to. This is the difference between reasonable suspicion and suspicion based on presence alone.
Yeah, well,
What is your name?
am I suspected of being?
What is your name?
Corey.
Corey what?
Right now, I prefer to just go by Corey.
No ID on you?
I do, but am I being detained, sir?
That's 10-4. Coming up on Jackson now.
Am I being detained, sir?
Yes, sir, and you can get that on camera too.
And what crime am I suspected of committing?
I didn't need to find out who you are and what you're doing. Do you understand that?
I do, but what crime am I
Get that on recording.
what crime am I suspected of committing, sir?
You're not committing a crime. I just want to know what.
So am I free to go?
Not yet.
So you guys can detain me for anything whatsoever.
Did you catch that? You're not committing a crime. I just want to know what you're doing. The officer literally admits on camera that Corey is not suspected of committing a crime and then refuses to let him go. That is a constitutional problem. Now here's what makes this even more significant. In March 2026, the Alabama Supreme Court ruled in Jennings v. Smith that officers may demand physical identification during lawful investigative stops if a person does not adequately identify themselves. But notice the key phrase there, lawful investigative stops. That ruling does not give officers blanket authority to demand ID from anyone they choose. The stop itself must still satisfy Terry. And the officer just told us on recording that Corey is not suspected of any crime. So what exactly makes this a lawful stop that would trigger any identification requirement? This is where public misconception runs rampant. Many people believe police can demand ID whenever they want. They cannot. The demand for identification flows from a lawful detention, and a lawful detention requires reasonable suspicion of specific criminal activity. The officer cannot have it both ways. He cannot say, "You're not committing a crime," and simultaneously claim authority to detain and identify someone.
Can I get your name, sir?
My name is Officer Price. You can get that on video.
Price?
Price.
Price, can you have a badge number? Everything is going on video.
See,
Everything.
This is what we do all night. Okay? It's not just you that we stop.
Well, it was a cop. That was a police. Matter of fact, that looks like him right there.
Really?
I've seen him pass me twice, and he didn't have any reason to stop me.
Right?
Right.
Okay. Now I've explained to you the reason why I stopped you. If everything comes back, I'll let you go.
And I'm pretty sure he seen me earlier, so I'm pretty sure he could tell you exactly what I was doing when he seen me.
This guy, apparently he was running, standing over here. I was concerned about it. He wants to get us all on video. I explained to him why I stopped him. He just goes back for it. No, he won't give me his full name, information. Maybe you can get something from him.
Sir.
I seen you running. You were over by Talladega Downs, wasn't you?
Right.
Yeah, you were on the sidewalk then,
Yeah.
I did see him over on Talladega Downs over there. It was jogging. You were walking my first, and then you started running.
Right.
But that was before he seen me in my patrol car. All he seen was the front of my car. Then
I seen you turn, and I kept on jogging.
He was running. He was walking, then he ran. Then I made my turn. Then then he saw the side of my car, but he didn't know I was police, and then started running. But you gotta understand, whenever we're out here this late at night and something like that goes on, he's going to want to do his investigation. I mean, it's not like it's gonna hurt nothing. I mean, all we're gonna do is just check your ID real quick.
Okay, but see, thing is, I don't know too much about the law. I'm not a lawyer. Ain't even pretend to be one. But I know that in order to detain me, you gotta have some type of reasonable suspicion that I've committed some type of crime. And you're just invading my. I'm minding my own business out here. I'm literally jogging. I'm exercising.
I'll tell you.
I'm trying to
get. I'm going to give you some reasonable suspicion on this. Okay, the problem call. It's going to be for the fact that you're running in a neighborhood.
He didn't even see me running. He literally see me just standing right here. I was literally just bent over, this right here, catching my breath. He didn't see me running. He just stopped me, you know? He just pulled over and just, you know?
Yeah.
So, again, what suspicion have what suspicion do you have of me committing a crime? Like, what have I done?
Sir, let me tell you something.
I just don't like my rights being violated, man. That's it, man. That's it, man.
If it's going to be a violation of rights, I'll let you know real quick, because I'm not going to be somebody who's going to be doing some stupid stuff and trying to go to jail or get sued or anything like that. You understand?
All right.
You go down to Talladega Downs and you can ask any of the guys down there.
Another police car.
Straightforward guys. I'm one of the nicest guys you're going to
And you can ask anybody around me if they know Corey with dreads, and they'll tell you that he don't bother anybody, he don't talk to anybody.
Look, I don't know you. You know, you ain't never met me, have you?
Nah, you don't look familiar at all to me.
Not many people do know me around here. That's why I get out on people. I try to, normally if you see me out with somebody, it's just me getting out and see a crowd on the walk. Just talk to them, get to know who they are, find out what they're doing. Just so whenever I know I'm getting my butt whooped one day, maybe somebody be inclined to help me out a little bit.
All right. I hear you there. I hear that.
And you know, that's what I do. And all he's out here doing is he's just trying to make sure. His thing is he likes to make sure nobody's house is getting broke into, and all this other stuff. And yeah, you know, he didn't know you were running. He just sees a man out here sweating right outside one of the, a business.
And I told him I was all right. So that should have been good enough reason for him to just go on, man.
Yeah, but see, if I tell you something, are you going to automatically believe me every time I talk?
I don't believe anybody.
Exactly. There you go.
I mean,
we don't believe nobody. 90% of people we talk to lie to us about everything we say. You know, we talk about.
And that's why I didn't believe him when he said that he had reports of burglaries. I've lived over this side of town for 15 years. I haven't heard any burglars.
And there it is. The backup officer just revealed the entire mindset. 90% of people we talk to lie to us. That statement right there explains everything about how this encounter unfolded. When you begin every citizen interaction assuming dishonesty, you have already abandoned the presumption of innocence that our legal system demands. Now look, I understand officers face dangers and deception regularly. That is a real occupational reality. But here is the legal problem. The subjective belief that people generally lie cannot transform an unlawful stop into a lawful one. The Terry standard is objective. It asks what facts the officer could articulate to a court, not what assumptions he carries about human nature. And Corey raised something critical that got brushed aside. He has lived in this neighborhood for 15 years. He knows this community. He is telling officers he has never heard of these burglaries they keep referencing. The officers have no response except, "We don't believe nobody." This is where community trust dies. When officers treat cooperation as suspicious and non-compliance as evidence of guilt, when they cannot distinguish between a neighbor exercising and a criminal fleeing, they have not just failed constitutionally, they have severed the very relationship that makes effective policing possible.
Off of right here, girl just got her house kicked in twice in 1 month.
What's her name?
I can't remember her name. She's from Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
She moved down here about 2 months ago. Got her door kicked in twice in 1 month.
I don't know her.
No more, trust me.
No, I don't know her then. I probably would have heard that if I'd known her.
But that actually did happen. I had to go in there and clear it out for her because she was scared to death to go back inside her house when she got home and her door was wide open. I ain't gonna lie about that. We have had some burglars, not many, between the burglars and the shootings and everything going on here.
I mean, I understand the shooting. But those what I understand was those was a whole bunch of little teenagers. I'm a grown man. I got 3 kids.
There's some adults mixed into it too.
I haven't heard that.
We got a whole list of everybody involved, and there's some adults.
Yeah.
The teenagers started it, but
then adults got involved.
Yeah, you got to understand when a teenager goes by and starts shooting up stuff, one of those adults' houses starts up, and then he gets mad, he's gonna start retaliating too. And that's where everything's going in. So it's a never-ending cycle. But all he's asking for is just name, date of birth. Make sure you ain't got no warrants for your arrest. I mean, you tell me you're a good enough citizen that you obey all the laws and everything.
He say all that. He say all that.
You got 3 kids. I hope you do.
I mean, I take care of mine. I mean, I ain't just 100%.
Ain't nobody 100%.
Yeah.
Good Christian person.
But
everybody got their flaws.
Right.
And that's all it's boiling down to. He just want to make sure you ain't got no active warrants, make sure there ain't been no burglars. In case there is one that pops up down the street, somebody's door got kicked in, we'll kind of know in the general area where to start looking at. And that's all it's boiling down to.
I understand that, but at the same time, I really just don't want my rights violated, and I feel like my rights are being violated right now. Because I'm pretty sure that you guys are going to try to search me or whatever anyway, whether I give you permission or not.
A search.
And I also want, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't trust police just because I got my hair pulled out, I was choked, tased, maced, beaten bloody. You hear me? Beaten bloody by 4 cops while I was in handcuffs.
But was it any of us though?
No, but that don't matter. He kind of looks familiar.
No,
he does look familiar, but like I don't trust that. One bad applicant will spoil a whole bunch for me, you know.
I'm gonna tell you this: if we want to search you, we're gonna do a weapon search. We're not gonna dig on you and everything else unless you tell us you want us to do. You go through my pockets, pull them out, do whatever you want to. We can search you for weapons if we choose to. We're not pushing it that far yet. If he wants to push it far enough, he could even arrest you for failure to identify to a law enforcement officer.
Is that a real law?
It's a real law.
I am going to look that up tonight if I don't go to jail.
This is where everything becomes painfully real. Corey just told these officers he was beaten bloody by 4 cops while in handcuffs. Hair pulled out, choked, tased, mazed. And the response? Was it any of us, though? That question misses the entire point of what community policing is supposed to accomplish. When someone shares traumatic history with law enforcement, and the immediate instinct is deflection rather than acknowledgement, you have demonstrated exactly why the distrust exists in the first place. Here is what the research tells us about effective community policing. The DOJ's Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services has spent decades documenting this. Trust is not built through individual officers claiming they are different. Trust is built through institutional accountability and transparent engagement strategies that acknowledge historical harm. The Talladega Police Department operates under Chief Ronald McElrath, with divisions including training specifically, so the infrastructure exists. But training means nothing if officers respond to disclosed trauma with, "That wasn't me," instead of, "I hear you and I understand why that shapes how you see this encounter." Corey is not asking for special treatment. He is explaining why his guard is up. And every officer on that scene just confirmed his instincts were correct.
Look on your phone, tell me what time it is.
Huh?
What time is it?
It's recording right. It's still recording.
Last I checked, it was what, 12:20?
12:44 now.
12:44? 12:44, you're out here in the middle of the intersection, business right there, a bunch of houses around here, you sweating. I saw you running.
I'm saying, you know why I'm sweating though.
He doesn't. He's out here, he's the one who made the initial stop, all right? All he's asking is for a name and date of birth so we can check you out, make sure he ain't got no warrants or anything like that. That's all this boils down to.
And then that's another thing. I might do have warrants on me. I'll be a fool to give you guys my name, then I go to jail and lose my job. I don't have any bail money, no bond money.
Well, do you have warrants for him?
I hope not. Last time I went to court, nobody tried to arrest me, so.
Last time you went to court?
Oh, what that was? 2 weeks ago. Two Tuesdays ago.
For what?
Huh?
For what? Tell me ain't domestic violence.
No, man. Trespassing.
That ain't nothing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, trespassing, you know if you have a warrant on it because you know where you can't go and everything. Where you trespassed at?
Knoxville.
Knoxville? Let me guess. Family-related problems?
Girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend. Yeah.
I see. You see there? That's fine.
Yeah, but I ain't headed to Knoxville. I actually stopped right here and finna head right back home. Back that way. Yeah,
So we end where we started. A man jogging at night. Officers who cannot articulate why he was stopped, and the conversation that reveals everything broken about how policing functions in communities like Talladega. Let me tie this together for you because this encounter is a case study in constitutional failure dressed up as routine police work. We watched Officer Kenneth Price stop Corey Dickerson based on nothing more than his presence outdoors after midnight. We heard the officer admit on camera that Corey was not committing a crime. We saw the second officer demand identification anyway. And we witnessed both officers dismiss Corey's lived experience with police violence as irrelevant to their conduct. Every single one of those moments represents a departure from what the law actually requires. Terry v. Ohio established in 1968 that officers need reasonable, articulable suspicion to detain someone, not hunches, not general crime statistics, specific facts about specific conduct by a specific person. The Supreme Court was clear about this because they understood something fundamental. The power to stop and detain citizens is enormous. It must be constrained by objective standards or it becomes a tool for harassment rather than investigation. What happened here was not a Terry stop. It was a fishing expedition, and Corey recognized it immediately. Now here is what makes this encounter instructive beyond its individual facts. The Alabama Supreme Court's ruling in Jennings v. Smith from March 2026 confirmed that officers may demand identification during lawful investigative stops. But that word lawful is doing all the heavy lifting. The authority to demand ID flows from the validity of the stop itself. You cannot bootstrap an unlawful detention into a lawful ID demand simply by claiming authority you do not possess. Corey understood this instinctively. He knew he did not have to produce identification because he knew the stop itself lacked legal foundation. And he was right. But here is the harder truth. Being legally correct does not always protect you from consequences. Corey mentioned prior experiences with police violence. He mentioned being beaten while handcuffed. He mentioned being tased and maced. These are not abstractions for him. They are reasons to be cautious even when asserting rights the Constitution guarantees. This is the tension at the heart of civil rights encounters with law enforcement. The law says one thing. The lived reality on the street often says another. And until police departments internalize that their authority comes with limits, not just legally, but practically, we will keep watching encounters like this one. The Talladega Police Department has training divisions. They have leadership. They have the infrastructure to do better. But infrastructure means nothing without culture change. And culture change requires officers who respond to distrust by earning trust, rather than demanding compliance. What I want you to take from this video is not just knowledge of Terry stops and identification requirements. I want you to understand that these legal frameworks exist because history taught us what happens when police authority goes unchecked. Every constitutional protection we discussed today was forged through struggle against abuse. Knowing your rights matters, but so does understanding why those rights exist in the first place. If this analysis helped you think differently about police encounters and constitutional protections, then share it with someone who needs to see it. These conversations matter beyond YouTube comments. They shape how communities interact with law enforcement and how law enforcement is held accountable. I want to hear from you. Tell me your name and where you are watching from. Drop your thoughts in the comments because I read them and I learn from perspectives different than my own. Subscribe if you want more legal analysis that treats you like someone capable of understanding complex issues. And suggest topics you want examined because there is no shortage of encounters that deserve this level of scrutiny. Thank you for spending this time with me. Stay informed, stay engaged, and never stop asking whether power is being exercised within its proper limits.